Hello, my name is Circle Isaac Newton. I am a physicist from England. I have come from my grave in order to teach you about my 3 laws of motion. The first law is every object persists in its state of rest or uniform motion in a straight line unless it is compelled to change that state by forces impressed on it. Did you get that? Probably not. Let me translate that into American for you. Back when I was a high school student, I always found it difficult to get up in the morning. So every morning, my mother would come to wake me up. I would usually get up as soon as she started shouting, but one particular morning, I had a hard time getting up. So she shoved me so hard that I fell off my bed and started rolling down my hallway. I couldn't stop. This is when I came up with my first law. Matter tends to stay in the same state, whether it be stationary, like me in my bed, or moving at a constant speed, like me rolling away, unless an outside force, like my mother shoving me out of bed, is exerted on it. This property of matter is called inertia. The second law is, force is equal to the change in momentum per change in time. For a constant mass, force equals mass times acceleration. Too fast for you silly Americans. Allow me to reiterate. In simple terms, it means that force is equal to mass times acceleration, or F equals ma. You might also see it as acceleration is equal to force divided by mass, or mass is equal to force divided by acceleration, but they mean the same thing. Quick overview of the 3 units of measurement. Force is the amount of energy it takes to do an action. It takes force to overcome inertia. Acceleration is the rate at which a velocity changes. When a mass accelerates, its speed and or direction of movement changes. Mass is how much stuff an object contains. A bowling ball has more mass than a beach ball. Once, I too, had to navigate the treacherous hallways of high school. Because of inertia, everyone was trying their best to go in their direction at their own speed so they could get to class on time. But some of us didn't have time for that. We had to get to class on time too. So here are 2 solutions. Scenario 1. Student A encounters Student B who has about the same mass as them. Student A decides he needs to push past Student B in order to make it to class on time. So Student A runs at Student B with more force and overcomes Student B's inertia. More force means a higher acceleration. Scenario 2. A senior encounters a group of freshmen. The senior has much more mass, even with all the freshmen combined. So he simple rolls over them. More mass means it takes more force to stop the senior, so the senior was able to push past the freshman with ease. The relationship between force, mass, and acceleration can get confusing, so just remember the equation F equals ma. The third law is simple. It's probably the only one you know. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. I came up with this one on the last day of the school year. It was a tough year, but we made it through. I was so relieved, I bounced right out the window. This law explains why I was able to bounce. When I jumped onto the table and exerted a force on it, I performed an action. The next moment, the counter pushed back at me with the same amount of force. That's the reaction. Thanks to my third law, you can walk, ride a bike, play sports, dance, dab and do everything else you do on a daily basis. Let's review. First law, inertia. Mass tends to stay still, or keep moving unless a force acts on it. Second law, F equals ma. Just remember the equation. Third law, all actions have an equal and opposite reaction. Simple enough, right? Well, that's enough from me. Good luck on your physics final.